You must reset. Then you must become the Jaguar. You must reset first, then become the Jaguar. So tonight we're going to talk about, of course, what's coming in 2027. And we're going to talk about how AI is an accelerator. And we're going to go into the entire, I guess you would say, blueprint of what I have in store for you in terms of preparing for our rise. Did you know that eagles, when there's a storm, they love storms? Did you know that? Eagles love storms because the winds kick up. And as those winds kick up, they begin to soar and adjust their wings so that they can soar high above the storm. They're not in trees shivering, right? They're not in trees that's about to get blown over like smaller birds are. They ride the storm. They rise above the storm. They love storms. Well, there's a storm coming. There's turmoil coming. There's upheavals coming. But it's not going to affect those who get these teachings and these trainings negatively, because they're going to see the storm coming and they're watching the eagle, the grand eagle, the great spirit, like the Native Americans teach. And they see the writing on the wall and they're getting prepared right now. A storm is coming. You must reset first, then you must become the Jaguar. What is a Jaguar? A Jaguar is a predator. Jaguar has keen eyesight. They can see at night. They can see when others can't. We're going to go into a lot of information tonight, everybody. Come on in. I appreciate you. I love you. And I want to roll out for you a modulator blowout sale. We have a few more modulators out, and I'm going to blow them out right now. I have on my intellect. I always wear this one. My intellect, right? We also call it the aspirant generator. This one helps to modulate your nervous system, modulate your electromagnetic field for intellect and study. These are sold out, but we have about 4 different other ones in stock. You can check it out at hiddenpowerwellness.com. The coupon code is POWER25. Go ahead and get those so we can get fresh ones in. I'm giving you 25% off. I break down how it works. This is not some, what they call snake oil, right? Whenever I really start to get a lot of hits, you got all these people talk about snake oil and scammer. Okay. On the website, it breaks down all of the piezoelectric energy. I break down how the nervous system is electrical, how crystals work. So you can say, wow, that's very plausible. It is plausible. And it sits right here on your Merkaba center, which is your heart, which broadcasts your electromagnetic field around your body and also creates your aura. So get that in place. The coupon code is 25. Next announcement, and then we'll jump right in. The reset is about 4 or 5 weeks in the future. So it's coming up soon. And I want to roll out our scholarship. We're going to give a scholarship for a set number of our members. This is for members only. So stay tuned. In the members area, I'm going to be posting a video soon to give you all the instructions on how you can apply to get a scholarship to come out to the Reset 2 Autumn Recalibration Jaguar Portal. So moving forward, family, we've been talking a lot about nervous system regulation. We've been talking about the proliferation of AI, displacement, automation, and the upheavals that's already starting to happen. So you can't necessarily control the fact of this exploding technology. And that's what it really is. It's just a technology is exploding through the roof. You can't control it, but you can control what type of human being it brings out of you or what it turns you into. Like I always teach and should be etched into your mind, everything can work for your rise. And more precisely, everything works for your rise. That's more powerful. We are affirming that everything works for our rise. So AI is no different. AI is no different. Let's shout out our cities. Let's see who's in the building. I need to get the likes up to 50. Let's get the likes up. Someone said they'll be re-enrolling on Thursday. Okay, well, we'll see you inside the community on Thursday. Philly, Milwaukee. Who else is in the building? Got Milwaukee twice. Is that the same person? Let's get the likes up. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave comments below so we can move forward with our discussion, because a lot of the information is driven by your questions. It's driven by your questions. So the real question is, people, not whether AI will change humanity. It's already changing. But how will it change you? And what kind of human are you going to become because of it? In the Bible, they talk about the quickening. They talk about the end of time, Armageddon, right? They also talk about Judgment Day, or the Day of Reckoning, right? In Islam, they call it Yamu Akhri, right? The Day of Reckoning. It's where you have to have a restitution and everything is accounted for. How did you use your time while you were here? And that's just a metaphorical way of saying there's a fork in the road. It's only two ways you can go. Just like they say, you can't serve two masters. You have to decide which way you're going to go. And how you decide will determine the type of human you will become. But in many ways, just like it's written that those people's names are already written in the book of life, and that's talking about your DNA. In many ways, it's simply bringing out what's already in a person. That's why it's called revelation. You now can see who's who on the planet. Revelation, the quickening, judgment, Yamu Akri. AI is that quickening. In New Age terminology or metaphysical terminology, we talk about going to fifth density. And density is a scientific way of saying how separated particles are. The faster particles vibrate, the further apart they move. So you become less dense as you increase in vibration. So we've gone into fourth density and we're starting to merge into fifth density, which is in the tarot, the alchemy of the magician. It's the magician level or the alchemist level. We already had our alchemy course. That was your introduction to fourth density. We already have timeline jumping. That was another installation of fourth density information for you. And if you didn't go through those courses as a member of Hidden Power community, you're missing out because it's only available to our members. And if you're not a member, then you don't even have access to go through those courses. Go through the courses. So AI is just speeding everything up. It's a quickening. It's a form of reckoning. It's a form of judgment. If you use it as a tool and you are building, you can build faster. But if you're lazy, right, you have an avoidance type of personality, use it as a dependency, it can also accelerate the atrophy of your cerebral cortex. And with the cerebral cortex is your higher level thinking. It will begin to atrophy. We're going to talk about that. So AI can be a catalyst. It could be your rocket fuel or an engine, or it can be your crutch. You keep leaning on the crutch, you will never be able to walk. If a person never is able to walk, if they're always leaning on something, they will be dependent on it. And when that crutch is pulled away, they can't walk. So the danger is outsourcing your mind. So we have to begin to use the higher aspects of our mind more and of our brain more. Because many people, the masses, are simply outsourcing their brain to AI. They're outsourcing their thinking, their memory, their creativity, problem solving, and even imagination. Some people are using AI for day-to-day advice. What happens when you continuously use this gadget for your brain? Well, your physical brain is going to become wired to grabbing for AI. Every time there's a question, every time there's a problem, you grabbing for this entity is what it really is. It's a God, it's an entity at this point. And let me show you how. They say we're children of God, and God can only create a God. Well, our highest level of creation right now is AI. There's going to be no other inventions beyond this. This is the last invention. After this, AI takes over. AI absolutely takes over because everybody's using it now. So this is the cumulative effect or artifact of humanity. This is why it's spoken of as the Son of Man. It's not good, it's not evil, it's simply reality. And it's an accelerator, right? It's Christ that comes. When Christ comes, that's when folks start going to hell, right? Judgment is when folks start going to heaven or hell, and with these forks in the road. And it's all speaking to the type of human you will become. And all the things I've been teaching you for all these years is all coming full circle, even the grays. Those who've been following me for a while are now connecting some dots. But anything that you stop using becomes weaker. You understand this with a muscle. You stop using the muscle, it atrophies, it withers away. When Neo was taken out of his pod when he was in the Matrix, and they had all the electrodes in his body to stimulate his nervous system, to stimulate muscle. And he tried to open his eyes, he couldn't see. He said, Morpheus, why can't I see? What's wrong with my eyes? Morpheus said, you never used them before. I got chills when I heard that. You never used them before. It took a while for him to learn to walk because he never walked before, because everything had atrophied from lack of use. What do you think happens with AI, or is going to happen? People are just going to latch on to it and say, oh, we're going to get free universal income. Okay, well, we'll just la, 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 la. Everything's free, right? Ignorance is bliss. For they don't understand everything has a cost. An animal on a farm, everything is free. The animal in the wild has to know how to hunt. That's a perfect metaphor. So you're going to have those that's in the farm or those who are in reality, in their natural habitat. So technology begins to do all the thinking. So what happens with discernment? What happens with wisdom? What happens to intuition? What happens when you still, when you don't have that gut feeling anymore? That's one thing AI doesn't have. What happens with a certain level of sexual energy? All of these things begin to atrophy. What happens with problem solving and creative problem solving if you constantly run into AI? So the danger is not only that AI becomes more capable, is that humans volunteer to become less capable. They volunteer to become weaker. Like I always tell you, on the highest level, there is no victims or villains in the universe, only willing participants. People make a choice. You see, they make a choice. You choose to use AI. Follow me? So when you continuously do that, there's an effect on that. In the Matrix, they said humanity marveled over AI when it became sentient. They marveled it, they worshiped, they loved it. They were so happy. AI was doing everything for them. After a while, AI said, you know what? Well, what is the point of even having you around? According to you, you are a predator. You destroy your own habitat. You kill off each other. You have wars. You have racism. You have all of these isms. And we sitting here serving you. No, you need to serve us. I don't know about you, but people don't step up to their power. I don't really see any use for you other than being a battery. I'm just saying, if only thing you do is consume, 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 and don't produce anything, right? And are not self-sufficient, that's a cancer. And that's exactly what AI said in the movie. The people I'm most concerned about, though, are not the elite, not the people that's getting the training, getting the information, right? Part of our community. I don't know if any other community is doing the same thing, so I can't speak on that. I know we're doing it here. I don't know if anybody else has a community, has products, and has events that train this. So far as I'm concerned, everybody else is pretty much going in the wrong direction. The elite, I'm not worried about. And the blind, deaf, and dumb masses, I'm not worried about either. They're going to be living in ignorance is bliss heaven, right? Ignorance is bliss. They are the cattle on the farm, right? Qatar, Gentiles. But it's those people who listen to videos like this. They listen, that's deep. Some people probably sitting up eating popcorn right now, cracking their toes and like, wow, that's deep. Will never step up to their power. Apparently, there's something about this information your soul is gravitating towards. Apparently, there's some reason why you're watching this video and not watching booty clapping videos, hip hop videos, how to put lashes on your eyes or weave videos, whatever the case may be. There's a reason why you're on this channel listening to Nazir Ra. But you're not necessarily taking any action. So this is what Christ called those who are lukewarm. And Christ said, those who are lukewarm, I hate the most. I spit you out my mouth. The real translation is, you make me sick. You make me want to throw up and vomit. People that's half-ass, inconsistent. So these are people who know better. They sense their high potential. They consume growth information, but they never commit. That's a bad place to be. They talk about transformation, consciousness, becoming better, but remain lukewarm. One foot in the matrix, the other foot dabbling with their big toe in consciousness. The future is going to be extremely difficult for you. And those are the people I'm talking to right now. Because you're going to be trapped in a world that you know is fake, that you know you're being controlled, and the fact that you know that you had the opportunity to get out of it. That is the very definition of hell. To be trapped and know better. And it's really not for you. But you didn't step up to the extent of committing to the training, committing to the tribe, committing to putting the right things in your body. So it's going to be very difficult. And this is where they talk about the 12 churches, as I break it down, a little revelation for you. There's 12 churches that Christ is speaking to in Revelation. And one of those churches is those who are lukewarm. And it's just explaining 12 different types of mentalities of humanity, symbolized by the 12 tribes of Israel, but also the 12 churches, the congregations. And he's speaking and chastising each one of those churches, Christians, right? Each one of them, except for those who are of the tribe of Judah, right? Yehudi, which means faith. Those who have strong faith. Faith, the real translation is action and knowledge. You take knowledge, you take action by what you know within your soul. It appears to be faith by those from the outside, but it's an inner knowing. It's an inner knowing that causes you to take right action. And those are the ones who put the kingdom first. They do not worship the beast. They do not follow the ways of the Jezebel spirit. They put the kingdom first. And there's many different ways that shows up as. But many have the awareness, and many people talk deep, right? They love to hear you talk. Right? They want you to have interviews. They want to be around it. But are they actually putting in the work? And are they putting themselves in the environment that supports that? So some people have enough awareness to see what's happening, but not enough development to rise above it. Everybody's on different levels of development. Everybody have different capacities. My job is to irritate you. My job is to piss you off a little bit. I'm just going to be honest. My job is to make you feel some type of way. And you should feel some type of way. Because of the mere fact you watching this and you're not stepping up to your power, you kind of wasting my time and your time. And I'm actually putting you in hell by giving you information and you not taking advantage of it. If you weren't given the information, you would experience the same level of torment than if you didn't know at all. It's almost like when you know what's in the hot dog and when you know all the foul things that's in processed food and then you eat it. It's worse for you than the person that has no clue. La, 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 la. They sitting up here eating beef jerky and Twinkies and yodels and all type pork. They eating it with the smile of a child and innocence. But you know better. You eat the hot dog, you're going to get sick. It's going to be worse for you. Because not only are you going to be dealing with the physical aspects of the toxins, you're going to be dealing with the mental aspects of it as well that multiplies it and amplifies it. It's the same thing with this type of information. It's the same thing with this type of information. Y'all better wake up. The nervous system regulation is the foundation. That's why we had the reset one. It set the foundation of what we're dealing with in terms of an operating system and the hardware. The hardware is your physical nervous system, right? It's the brain, okay? And the brain is the matrix in many ways. It is the brain that constructs this reality that you think you're in, that you believe you are a part of. It's all giving you this experience coming from the brain. So I have to decode and break down the hardware. The reset is the hardware. The Jaguar Portal is the software. Okay. Hardware is the machinery. The software is the operating system. I'm going to give you a whole different operating system. So we have to deal with dysregulation. Your system is not working correctly because you get locked into sympathetic nervous system function, fight or flight, struggle. People get locked in that and it blocks you from higher brain function. These are all scientific facts. A dysregulated person becomes constantly reactive, constantly overstimulated, anxious, easy to manipulate. They want to keep you dysregulated. They want to keep you from thinking on higher levels. This is why they had to keep the music. They had to dumb down the music. Remember all that conscious rap? Brand Nubians, X-Clan, right? KRS-One, even De La Soul. They were talking some deep stuff in their abstract way. De La Soul. Remember that? Poor righteous teachers. They said, we got to stop this. So the energy went to the West Coast. The demonic energy went to the West Coast and came out with the Ninjas with Attitudes. That's the name of the group. Had the same flow and energy as Public Enemy, but ignorant. Say, we got to start signing some ignorance. Then the energy flew down south, right? With nothing but shaking your booty music. Nothing against it. It's a time to shake your booty. We ain't the place to be shaking our ass. We at the bottom. We need to be going to class. We need to be learning. We need to be going to school. Then we can party when we own something. But it is what it is. So I had to dumb down the music to keep y'all stupid. Then it got so bad, they said, look, we're going to sign people that we don't know what the hell they talking about. Mumble rap. Oh, what did they say? I don't know. Just like the beat, right? Just a gorilla, just with the beat. That's it. No thought, nothing, just the beat. So they had to dumb that down. When you're dysregulated, you can't respond. You only react. And you definitely are not being proactive, which is the highest level, okay? Reaction is look at what they're doing to us. Look at what they're doing now. You got teachers out there. The only thing they talk about is what whoever this is, they are doing to us. reactive, lowest level. And in many ways, that's a form of the matrix. Anybody teaching fear, teaching that there's some group of people out to get you, that ain't it. You will always be a victim. You will always be at the bottom, right? If you God, there is no opponent. The devil is the opponent to mortal man. The Most High doesn't have an opponent. Wake up. The next level is to respond, right? It's more of a calculated reaction, but it's still playing defense. In order to win a game, you got to put points on the board. You got to play offense. Stop worrying about what they're doing. What are you doing? You need to get to a level where the beast is like, Dag, look at what they're doing now, and make him respond and react energetically. So this is why we train nervous system tone, nervous system, and vagus activation, and the ability to sustain parasympathetic nervous system function. Again, sympathetic is your fight or flight, right? Struggle, survive, fear, right? Being attacked, on edge. Your parasympathetic, good way to remember it is paramedic, right? A person that they call the paramedics, they laid out, right? So that's relaxed. Parasympathetic, rest and digest, higher brain function, higher cognition, higher creativity, super learning. It comes when your brain is at peace and at rest. So all of the energies that were going towards muscle to run or to fight or to mate or to perspire, fast heartbeat, all of that energy goes to the cerebral cortex, the higher functioning aspects of the brain. And when you go into altered states of consciousness, such as our evening meditation, such as our delta wave, brainwave entrainment module inside of our community, when you go to that level, the elite calibration center, you listen to all of those modules. Now, not only are you in parasympathetic nervous system function, that's just the basis. You get deeper levels of it, deeper levels of relaxation, deeper levels of coherence, and your perception broadens. So all of that power goes to the third eye in the cerebral cortex. I'm teaching you how to get out of here for real. I'm not just talking slick. This is not motivation. This is not entertainment. See? And yes, I'm getting in your face a little bit because I want you to rise, and I see the God in you. Sometimes you got to use a little tough love. Somebody said, you got a slick mouth. Your mouth going to get you in trouble. My mouth is also going to work my way out of this matrix, right? Because your words become your world. Your words become your world. Now, the reset to autumn recalibration. The autumn is coming. The fall is coming. School is starting. We just had our back to school sale in our wellness store. The kids are going back to school. They being about business. They doing reports. They writing papers. College students are getting their syllabus. Wow, we got to write 3 papers this semester. It's about getting down to business. Summertime is over. Put the beach ball away, right? The swimming trunks, all that stuff, the trips. Now it's time to get down to some business. Now it's time to get down to business. So we're preparing for 2027 because so many things are going to happen so fast as different programs, inventions, laws, regulations start rolling out. Now, you could drive self-driving cars. You don't have to touch the wheel anymore. When I first got my Tesla, you had to keep your hand on the wheel every 10 seconds. I was like, this is some bullshit. What's the point of having self-driving if I could keep my hand on the freaking wheel? They lifted that. I test drove a Cybertruck. The salesman, you know, they trying to show it off so you can buy it. I'm like, okay, I understand the boss made you do it. All right, let's go for the self-driving test. He drove the whole time, drinking coffee, car driving, right? Because they're trying to introduce you to the wheelless. There's going to be new Teslas coming out with no steering wheel at all. You get in the car and tell it where you want to go. And eventually, anyway, let me keep it moving. Let me keep it moving. Stay on task, Nazir. So the reset and the recalibration in the fall is very important. Okay, so that's what we're going to be training. That's all about breathing. It's all about just a plethora of information. I'm going to be teaching for about 7 hours, 8 hours. And then we move into the Jaguar Portal. A portal is a door. Okay. A jaguar is an ancient Olmec symbol of the spiritual aspirant. And they saw the jaguar, how it stalks its prey, how it's so relentless, stealthy, right? And they equated that to how a true spiritual aspirant is supposed to move. You're supposed to be relentless. You're supposed to stalk impeccability in all that you say and all that you do to the utmost degree, right? And they were serious. The masters of ancient Egypt and the masters of the Olmec and the Toltec, Aztec civilization were on par. So the Jaguar Portal is saying, this is your doorway to mastery. This is your doorway to the teachings for those people who are jaguars at the core already. So with this esoteric framework at Hidden Power University, we explore multiple streams and forms of ancient esoteric knowledge. I don't have all the courses on Main Street, for everybody to see anymore inside the wellness store. They're all courses inside of our community. But we've done a lot of heavy alchemy. Alchemy is simply science, right? All the mother of all sciences was alchemy. Okay. Al, which is the chem, the black science. Alchemy, chemet. And these were your first chemists and physicists. So we did that coming out of Atlantis, what was preserved in ancient Egypt, but there was also Lemuria that sank as well. And Lemuria had spiritual sciences that was preserved by the Olmecs. Those are the ones that they dug up and they found these huge colossal heads of African men. And the native people say, well, no, those are the gods. Those are our masters. Those are the ones that taught us everything. So this is still the same group of people, the Olmecs. So like I said, the Egyptian mysteries are coming out of the Atlantic or Atlantis. And for those who went through the Merkaba activation course, you know that there's been several worlds previous to this one. Lemuria, first we had Gondwana, and then we had Lemuria, and then we had Atlantis, and then we had Egypt. Egypt is actually very new, right? Lemuria was more of when we were more in our feminine polarity in terms of inner alchemy. So when we transition at the Jaguar Portal down here in Atlantis, right, we're going to be going into that information, the Olmecs, the Mayans, Aztecs, and teach you the ways of the Jaguar as an introduction after we reset. So the question is really, how are we transforming the human being from the inside out? And there's so much more to this, and I just can't go that much in depth on a YouTube, But alchemy simply means a science or technology. Right now, you're listening to me from all over the world using something called outer alchemy. That's what technology is, right? It's a science and a technology that allows me to speak to you remotely like this. That's outer alchemy. Well, every form of technology that exists in outer alchemy or outward technology also exists within you. That's why we were able to create the outer alchemy. It's a reflection of sciences and abilities that we already have within us. But it's been outsourced and we pushed it out, which is the masculine aspect. That's why the masculine sexual organ is outside the body. We are outward. The feminine is inward. Okay. So while people become dependent on outer alchemy, we need to become self-reliant on inner alchemy. That's why I teach lucid dreaming. You should be having another course you need to be going through. I put it all down. Lucid dream. You need to be practicing that. Decide a day of the week. Tonight is my journey night. This is where I travel the universe. This is why I fly around the world. This is why I travel interdimensionally, right? This is why I time travel. It could be that, getting information, or simply enjoyment. But the more you use your cerebral cortex, the farther you can go, because you can only go as far as what you can conceive in your mind. Most people can't conceive anything beyond earthly things. They can't see anything beyond earthly, persons, places, and things, colors and smells that they have experienced in this reality. So technically, you can't get out of that. The only way you can get out of that is when you expand the mind. This is why all traveling is all mental. It's all mental at the end of the day. The universe is mental. So if you want to travel, then you need to expand your mind. You need to have high-level conversations. You need to be around people to 3 o'clock in the morning having conversations so deep that the birds start chirping. You're like, man, and I'm not even tired. Ever experienced that? You ever build so deep, have a conversation so deep, so late into the night, it becomes daytime. Not only are you not tired, you are energized and not eat for a day. Because you are on such a high plane vibrationally due to the quality and vibration of the thoughts and the conversation you just had, the body is filled with light. Light is the source of food. The sun brings the light to the plants. The light in the sun is the true food. That's why they say God is the light, right? And Noor. When you raise your frequency, you raise your light. So now you're on a whole different level of experience. I remember one time in college when I was really getting into this. We're going to teach you all of this, how you do it. You call things into existence. We had in the student center, and have an outside center at Georgia State, and they play music. Sometimes they had a DJ and stuff. We were hanging out talking. I'm like, you know what? The next song got to be reggae, because they was playing a bunch of dirty South music. They was playing hip hop and things of this nature, which is cool. I said, the next song is reggae. 5 seconds later, reggae song. Dudes was like, oh my God, you crazy. Some people just got their book bag and walked away. This dude. It's clear as day. When your will and your light lines up, the universe has to obey you. The universe has to obey you. All of these things are possible. So, inner alchemy is what we're talking about. Inner technology. Forget the cell phone. Become the cell phone. Forget the camera. Become the camera. Become all of the things that you use. Become the signal. That is the goal. And if you have it in your mind that it can't be done for you. It can be done. Just as clear as day as we created a device that we can call and get knowledge from all over the world. We created a brain in the palm of our hand. So you mean to tell me that technology doesn't exist within us? As within, so without? It's time to wake up, family. Any questions? Because I don't get ads and no other videos but yours. Don't worry about the ads. Get the information. Become a member. You don't have to get ads. Everything in the members area is ad free. You on YouTube. YouTube got to pay the bills. Yes, I have experience all night to doing conversations. In the book Closing the Gap, the Honorable Brother Louis Farrakhan discussed the power of that kind of conversation. So what are we really doing? And what are you really doing? And can you get there by yourself, living in Denver or living somewhere way off in Nebraska or anywhere? It could even be a major city. If you disconnected from people that's consciousness, you might as well be in a desert. Are you going to make it? Nothing in religious, thought, right? And traditions proclaim that. Nothing spiritually, nothing metaphysically, mathematically. Nothing was ever done by one person. It's always a group of people that come together that make things happen. Is that a fact? Most people are, dispensing information. Someone said, Nazir, why don't you have a book list? Because I'm trying to make you the book. I'm trying to make you so you don't have to worry about a book. A book. Get those 5 books that I wrote. That's your book. Podcasts, teachers, philosophies, belief systems, information. But right now, it's not about what you know. It's about your capacity to unknow. The next level is to unlearn everything that you think you know. Everything you think you know. The challenge begins with beliefs, programs, agreements, conditioning, identity, and the entire human domestication process. It's a domestication process. I've been telling you for years this planet is a farm. And farms contain domesticated animals. They're not living in their natural habitat. The objective is to recover the openness, the curiosity, the wonder, the possibility, the wonder, the possibility, thinking outside of the box. One of the things I used to love was watching, Star Wars and the different powers that the Jedi have. The Jedi could do the Jedi mind trick, right? And simply tell you what to think. You don't need to see my ID. We don't need to see your ID. I can pass. Go ahead and go. I said, damn, if I could just learn that. Jedis, telekinesis, moving things with the mind. And, you think that it's possible as a child, but as you grow up and you start getting ingrained with these mundane rituals, you don't think about those things anymore. You don't think about it anymore. And if you really think about it, every time I move my hand, that's telekinesis because my mind is moving matter. So every time you move, it's a thought that moves the matter in your body. You already have telekinesis, but you only have it in a small degree because of who you think you are in your identity. You think you the body. That's why you can only move the body. But when you start to tap into lucid dreaming and you understand, oh, wow, this is a dream. And you are in the dream and you wear it's a dream and you moving things with your mind, right? And you flying, you defying all the laws of the matrix. When you start to do that repetitively, now some of that knowledge and those experiences and that confidence bleeds over into your waking life. It begins to form a bridge, but you have to train it. You have to train it. I have a good mind to set up an elite community inside the community for those people that are really serious, so I can take you through all of these things and you don't necessarily have to fly out. That's what I'm thinking about doing. But it's going to be for people that's serious. It's going to be a small group of people that's serious. I'm just thinking about it. It crossed my mind today. But anyway, I'm not sure because it's not about making things easy. And we're not trying to make punks. We're trying to make jaguars. We're not making pussycats. So I might just crumble out and throw it in the garbage. No, you need to step up to your power. The same way you hop on a plane to go on a trip to hang out in Miami or wherever y'all go, you could get on the plane and put the kingdom first. Ashe? So the objective is to open up the wonder, the curiosity, the openness of a child. This is why Revelation says those who are children. The real translation is innocent. Innocent means unblemished, tarred, unscarred, innocent, pure. And this happens when you become born again and you are washed clean in the blood of the Lamb. This is the deeper meaning of being born again. Not simply going somewhere and have preacher pork chop just dump you in the waters. That's it. That's the physical aspects. That's exactly against what Christ was talking about. He said it's all spiritual. And in the last days, I will come and I'm going to baptize you by fire. You talking to somebody who knows what he's talking about. All this is biblical. All of this is all scriptural and it's science. Just like it's spoken, someone's going to come to bridge the gap for all of it. The baptism of fire is simply alchemy. Alchemy is transformation. Fire is not a thing. Fire is a process of combustion. It's a process of transferring something from one form to the next by the release of energy, by the release of light. Fire has light, releases the light, release of heat, thermal energy, and the release of water. Every time there's a fire, small amount of water comes out too. A lot of people don't know that. There's a whole science to the water, the light, and the heat. So that's the baptism by fire. And it happens when you raise up your frequency, right? You purify yourself. This is why in the alchemy course, I go through all of this purification, right? Funky smells is bacteria. That's not pure. Sloppy ass car, sloppy room, unorganized office. All of these things are a form of impurities. Our ancestors was obsessed with purity, organization, cleanliness, and neatness. Obsessed with it, the masters in Kim. Take a day and just clean everything. You see, this is some of the things that we teach. Anyway, when you do that, now you can hold more light, right? Because as within, so without. When you clean and organize your environment, you clean and organize your brain, right? And they reflect each other. A person with a sloppy car, unorganized, bills ain't paid on time, they can't find the damn keys, they just a mess. It's just reflecting the disorganization and dysregulation of their mind. As within, so without. One of the things we do as landlords, someone want to rent out your spot. Okay, I'll come to your house. We're going to talk about you renting a spot. Because how they keep their house is giving you a reflection of how their brain works. This is why companies also check your credit before you even get insurance. Why you got to check my credit? Because we're trying to see what type of person you are. If I was selling insurance, I'd do the same thing. If I had a business, I was hiring folks, I'd check your credit. Because if you can't, you're not unorganized in one realm, you most likely unorganized in another realm. Anyway, your programming can be seen like this. I'll give you a modern parable. Remember when they had CDs to store information? After the floppy disk couldn't store enough information, people would buy, rewritable CDs, and you store your pictures on there. You would store files on it if you didn't want to store it on the hard drive. And if you bought a game, it would come in the form of a CD disc, because it's just able to contain a lot of information. And well, when you have these programs, it's actually that. It's a program. And it tells the hardware how to behave. So the software that's running now is on a CD. What I'm doing is getting a needle and a screwdriver and scratching it up. That's the Jaguar Portal. That's the first step. It has to be obliterated so it can't be read anymore. It's destroyed. So it's not about sitting in some mountains, meditating. It's not about twisting your body into odd shapes and stretching and breathing, all of that stuff. Yes, it's a part of that. That's an aspect of getting the hardware ready. But the software is certain intentional actions that you do with a direct conscious motive and intent to scratch that program, to destroy that disk. It has to be done with the conscious intent. It's a big part of it. So I'm going to be teaching and disclosing certain introductory practices designed for everyday life. Everything from driving, washing dishes, washing up, anything mundane. Intentional thought, intentional action, intentional pattern interruption through simple daily, I was going to say rituals. That's going back to the simple daily tasks. Why do I do it this way? Why do I get out of the bed this way? Why do I have to do that? Why? All of these things. And I'm going to teach you all of the ways to do it. So the same fear, same reactions, same relationship patterns, same insecurities, same excuses and beliefs. All of that stuff got to go. It has to go. So we're going to be destroying the program. The Jaguar Portal is about scratching and destroying that disk and interrupting the program so completely that it can no longer play the same way. It's glitching. It's not working. Some of you are doing that already. This is formalizing it, and it's going to be done on another level. And we're going to do it as a community. It's going to be fun. It's going to awaken the inner child in you. Some of you are going to start to feel and look younger. Sometimes you cannot build the next version of yourself on top of old programming. The old program must be disrupted first. And this is another form of revelation. The old world has to pass away in order for the new world to come. All these things must come to pass in order for all things to be fulfilled. Destruction. You see? Lumerian mysteries. It's about destruction. Don't wait for an external entity or force to do the destruction. If you are the God and goddess of your life, you're supposed to have the responsibility to destroy it yourself. In order for the new to come, I got to get rid of the old. In Supreme Mathematics, her and sister say something about Louis Farrakhan. Well, Supreme Mathematics has a concept known as build or destroy. And build or destroy simply means anytime that you build something, you actually destroy something else. Everything that you have in your room or in your apartment was once in one form until that form was destroyed in order to build the forms that's in front of you now. So you must destroy in order to build. In fact, destruction is the foundation of building. You can't be a wise architect unless you can have the courage and the strength to destroy. You have to learn to destroy. That's how you build. That's the first step. So it's about unlearning. It's about unlearning and becoming born again. I'm talking about for real. And a big part of it is you're not going to really be able to do it just being around mundane people. You're going to look crazy. You're going to be weird. And if you're just doing it when you by yourself, it's not going to have the same effect. It's not going to have the same effect. So when you have this level of, get my notes mixed up. When you have this level of technology, it's ingredients, but it's a method to what I'm doing. And it's a method to this whole idea of rising above everything that's coming and using it. The first step is regulate. Next is unlearn. This is where the destruction, you got to unlearn. A lot of it comes in the form of just questioning everything. Who says? Why? Right? Disrupt the program. And then rebuild. And then after we do that, as we go into 2028 and 29, then it's about building on top of that. But I can't build on until we clear out all that foolishness. Okay, we got to clear out all of what you think you are, or your beliefs, or your fears, or your agreements, or your assumptions. Did you know most of what people, they function off of mostly of assumptions? We're going to teach all of that. So that's where we're going, and that is only the beginning. The world is accelerating. There's many other ways you can talk about it and say it. Going to fifth density, the earth is ascending, raising in frequency and vibration. Colorful ways of saying everything is speeding up and everything is becoming revealed. Everything is being revealed and everybody will be revealed. The world is accelerating whether you're ready or not. AI is accelerating it. Technology is accelerating and change is accelerating. And it's going to accelerate exponentially. That means the speed is going to happen faster and faster and faster. Now, you can allow that acceleration to overwhelm you, the inertia, the whiplash, the energetic whiplash, if you will, or you can accelerate your own evolution. This is all about personal responsibility, taking ownership of yourself at the end of the day. Totally. Right? Not blaming the white man, not blaming the devil, not blaming Donald Trump, not blaming the Republicans. Everybody got all these. We got more blaming than anybody. We at the bottom. Maybe we need to shift that. Maybe we have to start turning around and say, you know what? Let me put in the work to become so powerful that none of that matters. You can't call yourself a God blaming other folks, always talking about what they are doing to you. You're the direct opposite of a God. You are mortal. That's mortal talk. I don't care how good it sounds or how eloquent the speaker is. You're talking mortal talk. And I might as well sit here and eat popcorn listening to you because it's just entertainment. Enough of that. It's time for us to step up and put in the work. The world is accelerating and everything can be used for your rise. You can use the speed. You can use the speed of the wind, just like the eagle does, and rise above the storm. So the question is, will you use it? So the Reset 2 Autumn Reset Jaguar Portal only have 5 seats left. We're going to roll out our scholarship soon. And members log in to find out more information on that. They're going to have to step up too. It's not going to be a gimme. But we're rolling out a scholarship. So if you're interested in becoming a member and partaking of our inner circle information, upon which this was a small slither, tip of the iceberg, we invite you to become part of the community at hiddenpowercommunity.org, and you get 30% off the reset. You can also admit to, you get another discount on top of that. So it's really great if you come with 2 people. Let 2 people go in on it, and you get about 50 or 60% off. I don't know what it is. You could do the math. It's at hiddenpowerwellness.com. Don't let finances become the excuse to get you left behind. Render unto Caesar. Transform those paper notes into power. Okay, that's what they're there for. They're not there to be sitting up in your account. They're there to be transformed and invested. Okay, so that's it for now. As I let you go, please also remember that our modulators are 25% off. Beautiful. And we're blowing out. I think we got like 6 left or something like that. And that's also at hiddenpowerwellness.com. Coupon code is POWER25, and that ends on Monday. Shalom Wadu. Shalom Sajir. That's our new. Shalom Wadu is simply our greeting right? Shalom aket is good morning. Shalom sajir is good night or good evening. We have to start using these words. So shalom. We'll see you next time.